Welcome, pilots! This video is part of a series that will focus on fitting pirate faction cruisers for running combat sites. In this episode, I'll be shining a spotlight on the Ashimmu, a faction cruiser with bonuses to energy neutralization and stasis webifiers that specializes in medium energy turrets. In order to fly the Ashimmu, you'll need both your Minmatar cruiser and Amarr cruiser skills trained to at least level 2. Continuing to train Minmatar cruiser will increase your range with stasis webifiers, while continuing to train Amarr cruiser will increase your energy drain amount with energy Nosferatu and neutralizer modules. The Ashimmu's roll bonus gives it a strong boost to medium energy turret damage, though it's much lower than the roll bonus of the Phantasm. It does, however, have a strong armor layer and plenty of power grid and capacitor. Its ship attributes and cruiser bonuses allow it to hold its enemies in place, effectively paralyzing its enemies. With a slot layout of 4 mid-slots and 6 low slots, the Ashimmu has a much stronger armor tank, though it is possible to fit an active shield tank. The Ashimmu feels like a PvP specialty ship, but I quite enjoyed trying it out for running combat sites. There are 3 main fitting options you'll be choosing for the Ashimmu. The first option is whether to use medium-range pulse lasers or long-range beam lasers. Pulse lasers have better tracking, allowing them to hit smaller targets a little easier. Beam lasers are good for long-range sniping and generally have higher DPS. Pulse lasers only have higher DPS when loaded with conflagration crystals. The Ashimmu's turrets are locked into dealing EM and thermal damage, but its reasonably sized drone bay allows it to equip some kinetic or explosive damage as well. The second fitting option is whether to use an active armor tank or active shield tank. With 6 low power slots, it can fit an armor tank with either 2 armor repairers or a single repairer with high resists. And the third fitting option is your choice of propulsion modules. The Ashimmu's low velocity makes the micro-warp drive the more natural choice. But fitting both a micro-warp drive and afterburner could be an option as well, giving you the flexibility to both speed tank during encounters, or race to a wreck when in direct competition with another capsuleer. I managed to build a single fit for the Ashimmu, a high-resist single-rep armor tank. But before I present that fit, I thought I'd review several alternative fits. The first is an active shield tank, suitable against the Guristas, Serpentis, or Angel Cartel. It uses Tech 2 heavy beam lasers with 2 Tech 2 heatsinks and a drone bay filled with Caldari Navy Hornets. With multi-frequency crystals, this achieves about 430 DPS. A Sister's Core probe launcher is fit in one of the utility high-power slots, with Sister's probes. The active shield tank includes a Tech 2 large shield booster, a Tech 2 multi-spectrum shield hardener, and 3 core defense operational solidifier rigs. One of them is the Tech 2 variant, giving us a shield boost rate of about 119 hit points per second. To make the fit cap stable, it needs a Republic Fleet large cap battery and 4 Tech 2 capacitor flux coils. Note that I fit a Tech 2 afterburner rather than a micro-warp drive. I've left the second utility high-power slot empty. You could fit a salvager, tractor beam, or even a medium energy Nosferatu if you have enough CPU for it. Note that in most situations you won't be close enough to NPC targets to actually use a Nosferatu module during combat. If you prefer close-range combat, you could switch to heavy pulse lasers, making a Nosferatu more useful. With conflagration crystals, this boosts your DPS up to about 550 DPS. The second alternative fit is an active dual-rep armor tank, suitable against the Blood Raiders or Sanchez Nation. It has similar offensive modules to the shield fit, with Tech 2 heavy beam lasers, 2 Tech 2 heatsinks, and a drone bay filled with Federation Navy hobgoblins, achieving about 430 DPS. A Sister's Core probe launcher is fit in one of the utility high-power slots, with Sister's probes. The active armor tank consists of 2 Tech 2 medium armor repairers, a Tech 2 damage control, and 2 auxiliary nanopump rigs. One of them is the Tech 2 variant, achieving an armor repair rate of just over 100 hit points per second. So long as the micro-warp drive isn't running, the fit is cap stable. It includes a Republic Fleet large cap battery and Tech 2 cap recharger in the mid-slots, along with a Tech 2 capacitor power relay in a low-power slot, and a capacitor control circuit rig. The final mid-power slot is a Tech 2 tracking computer. In most situations against Blood or Sancha NPCs, you'll likely use an optimal range script. Like the active shield fit, I've left the second utility high-power slot empty, which you can fill however you like. And finally, here's the active armor fit that I actually use to run every high-security combat site. It takes full advantage of the Ashimmu's unique blend of ship attributes, but does require a lot of focus to survive some of the more difficult combat sites. It uses Tech 2 heavy pulse lasers with 2 Tech 2 heatsinks and a drone bay filled with Caldari Navy Hornets. With multi-frequency crystals, it achieves about 400 DPS. But switching to conflagration brings this up to about 550 DPS. The active armor tank consists of a single Corpum C-type medium armor repair, a reactive armor hardener, and 2 Dark Blood multi-spectrum energized membranes in the low slots. It also includes 3 auxiliary nanopump rigs, one of them the Tech 2 variant, to achieve an armor repair rate of about 69 hit points per second. I've included a Tech 2 explosive armor hardener in the cargo bay, which you can swap in whenever you enter Angel Cartel space. The mid-power slots include a Corellum C-type micro-warp drive and a Tech 2 afterburner. This allows you to pulse the micro-warp drive to get yourself in range, then switch to the afterburner to provide a bit of a speed tank. The fit becomes cap stable when the afterburner is running, so long as you can find a nearby target with the Tech 2 medium energy Nosfera 2 module. It includes a Republic Fleet large cap battery to achieve this. The final mid-power slot is a Tech 2 tracking computer. I'll now showcase some footage using the single rep armor fit against some of the more difficult combat sites. The closest I came to my tank failing was in the second room of the Angel Cartel occupied mining colony. A big part of my difficulty was in neglecting to activate my afterburner once I was in range of the Domination excavator for a good 15 to 20 seconds. With so much pressure on my tank, I felt the need to take out some of the target painting frigate NPCs. In the end, I survived the encounter and was quite well rewarded. Blitzing the Angel Vigil site wasn't a problem. Once you ferret out and destroy Pat Weed, you just bookmark his wreck and come back later for the loot. In the second room of the Molzatov Monastery, I found I was able to stay engaged and largely ignore all of the energy-neutralizing cruisers. I took out the stasis towers first from a distance using an optimal range script, scorched crystals, and drones. Whenever a cruiser came in range, I activated my Nosferatu on it, and found I was never in danger of running out of capacitor. I was able to employ similar tactics in the Blood and Sancha Vigil sites, relying on scorched crystals to take out the stasis towers. The Ashimmu definitely provides a unique feel compared to most of the other pirate faction cruisers, and I enjoyed trying it out for high security combat sites. It's definitely less efficient in this role, but still quite capable for players who might be role-playing as an armour purist. I suspect the Ashimmu could make for an interesting experience for PvP pilots looking to goad PvE-focused players into a fight. I've included all of these fits over on my website at RileyEntertainment.com. I do provide alternate fits for alpha pilots, but I only tested the Omega single-rep armor fit. I would caution younger players to fully train into these fits first, rather than trying to downgrade any of the modules. And that's all I have for the Ashimmu. In the next part of the series, I'll showcase some PvE fits for the Vigilant. If you ever need a little help running any combat site you find in high security space, you can check out my comprehensive library of video guides right here on this channel. Stay tuned to Riley Entertainment for more EVE Online combat site guides, and smash that like button if you enjoy my content.